When you're in that moment of loss, when she's not with you anymore and your heart is restless, the first instinct is always to chase, to call, to beg, to prove yourself in words. But let me tell you something from experience and from observing so many people go through the exact same thing. Chasing only pushes her further away. What truly brings her back, what truly shifts the entire dynamic is when you shift your focus inward, when you start building yourself up again. And I don't mean pretending to improve just to get her back. I mean genuinely becoming the strongest, most confident, most grounded version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't something you talk into existence. It's something you talk into existence. Think about it for a moment. The person she first fell for, the version of you that captured her attention, that lit a spark in her, was that person desperate, insecure, and broken? Or was that person driven, confident, full of energy and living with a sense of purpose? Women are not obsessed with words. They're obsessed with energy, with the way a man carries himself, with the way he lights up a room because he knows who he is and where he's going. So when she sees you after the breakup, the only question in her mind is, does he look like he's growing or does he look like he's shrinking? If the answer is growth, if the answer is power, if the answer is strength, that's when her heart begins to rethink everything. Self-improvement is not a cliche. It is the secret weapon. It is the one thing that changes the entire equation, because when you focus on yourself, two things happen simultaneously. First, you naturally start to detach from the pain of the breakup, which makes you stronger and harder to shake. Second, you become magnetic again. That magnetism doesn't come from chasing. It comes from building. If you wake up every day with discipline, if you hit the gym, if you sharpen your mind, if you read, if you learn, if you level up financially, emotionally, spiritually, you become the man she cannot ignore. Because no woman can resist a man who refuses to stay down, who turns his pain into power. But here's the key: this journey cannot be faked. You can't just go to the gym twice, read one book, post it online, and expect her to come running. That's not how this works. You have to commit to the process, because this process isn't just about her. It's about you. Even if she never comes back, even if things don't go the way you imagine, you are going to be in a place where you have built such a powerful life for yourself that her return becomes a bonus, not the prize. The prize is you becoming unstoppable. That mindset is exactly what flips the entire script. When she sees that your world doesn't revolve around her anymore, when she realizes that you are no longer sitting and waiting, but instead moving forward with energy and purpose, that's when she feels the loss. That's when she wonders if she misjudged you. That's when she questions her decision. And here's the beautiful paradox: the moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts needing you again. It's human psychology. People are attracted to strength, not weakness. They are drawn to people who value themselves, who respect themselves, who don't crumble under pressure but rise from it. So the next time you feel that urge to send that desperate text or to ask her to come back, pause and remind yourself, this is the exact moment when I need to double down on me. Every rep in the gym, every page you read, every new skill you master, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are not just improving yourself. You are increasing the chances that she will see you as the man she should never have walked away from. I've seen countless men break down after a breakup, completely lose themselves, and they wonder why she never came back. But then I've also seen men who used that pain as fuel, who channeled it into their growth, who rose higher than they've ever been. And guess what? She came back, sometimes months later, sometimes years later, but she came back because she saw what he had become. She saw the strength, the power, the transformation. That's what women can't resist. They cannot ignore the man who refused to stay broken. So if you want her to come back, stop waiting, stop begging, stop proving. The only proof you need is in the life you build, the energy you carry, and the strength you radiate. Because when you focus on yourself, when you grow beyond who you were yesterday, when you rise higher every single day, there's only one possible outcome. She will look back. She will look back. She will feel that pull, and she will regret ever letting you go. One of the hardest things to do after she leaves is to give her space. Everything inside you wants to close the gap, to reach out, to fix what's broken right away. You want to call, you want to text, you want to pour your heart out and convince her that you're the one. But that instinct, as natural as it feels, is the very thing that kills attraction even further, because no woman is drawn to desperation. No woman is inspired by a man who cannot control his emotions. When you bombard her with calls, when you constantly ask her to come back, what you're really saying to her is, I have no control, I have no patience, I have no strength without you. And the moment she sees that, she loses even more respect. Respect is the foundation of love. You can't rebuild a connection without it. And the quickest way to rebuild respect is not by proving your love but by stepping back and showing her that you are not dependent on her for your happiness. That's where distance becomes powerful. When you respect her decision, when you allow her to feel the separation, you send a silent but powerful message. I am strong enough to let you go, but I'm also strong enough to let you miss me. That's when the shift begins. It's not about ignoring her out of anger. It's not about playing games, and it's not about revenge. It's about composure. Space allows both of you to breathe. It allows her to see what life feels like without your presence, and it allows you to regain clarity and balance. Think about it. When someone is constantly around you, constantly pressing, constantly demanding attention, the natural reaction is to push them away. But when that pressure disappears, when silence replaces the noise, curiosity starts to grow. She starts to wonder what you're doing, who you're becoming, how you're handling it all without her. That curiosity is the spark that brings her back to thinking about you again. Many men sabotage themselves in this stage. They can't handle the silence, so they break it. They think sending one more text, writing one more paragraph, or calling just one more time will change everything. But it doesn't. It only reinforces the image of neediness. The truth is, the silence is not empty. It's full of power. Because every day you don't chase, every day you don't beg, every day you don't seek validation from her is a day you build respect. She may not say it. She may not show it, but she feels it. She notices when you don't react. She notices when you don't fold. She notices when you let her go with dignity. And that silence is louder than any words you could have said. Now, understand this, giving her space, does not mean you disappear into depression or you sit waiting for her call. No, this is where you double down on yourself. This is where you grow. This is where you elevate. This is where you make her realize that the distance isn't making you weaker. It's making you stronger. And when she sees that strength, when she notices that you are not chasing, but you are instead living with purpose, that's when the respect starts to rebuild. That's when she starts to see you as the man she can admire again. And here's something most people don't realize: respect is often rebuilt in absence, not presence. When she doesn't hear from you, when she doesn't see a name pop up on her phone, her mind starts working. She begins to ask herself, why isn't he calling? Has he moved on? Is he becoming someone I can't reach anymore? Those questions plant seeds of doubt in her about her decision to leave. And the more she thinks, the more she feels the distance, the more she starts to realize the value of what she lost. This is why patience is so important. You cannot rush this process. You cannot expect immediate results. Giving space requires faith, it requires discipline, and it requires belief in your own worth. And that's what makes it so powerful, because when she finally reaches out, when she finally starts testing the waters, she's not reaching out to the desperate man who begged. She's reaching out to the calm, composed man who respected her boundaries and grew stronger because of it. So remember this. Every time you want to break that silence, remind yourself that space is not distance, it's strategy. It's not pushing her away, it's pulling her back the right way. The more you respect the space, the more she will respect you. And when she respects you, attraction has no choice but to follow. When a relationship breaks apart, what fades the fastest isn't always the love, it's the emotional connection. That bond you once had, the little spark that made her feel safe, desired, and alive with you, starts to dim when the distance grows. But here's the truth: emotions are never completely erased. They are stored deep inside the memory, waiting to be triggered again. That's why the key to pulling her back isn't endless convincing. It isn't arguments about why she should be with you. It's reawakening the feelings she once had, reminding her heart of what it already knows. Every woman remembers how a man made her feel, even when she tries to bury it. She remembers the laughter, the late night talks, the inside jokes, the way you looked at her when no one else was watching. Those emotions don't disappear. They get covered up by pain, misunderstandings, or disappointment. But when you learn how to reignite that connection, those feelings resurface stronger than ever. And the most powerful way to do this is not through words. It's through experiences and energy. Think about when you first met her. It wasn't just what you said that mattered. It was how you made her feel when she was around you. Did she feel safe? Did she feel excited? Did she feel like she was with a man who understood her and could make her laugh? That is the connection she fell for. And that is the connection you must awaken again. Not by reminding her of promises, but by reminding her of moments when you show her that same energy she once loved. Confidence, playfulness, lightness, strength. She won't just remember you, she'll feel you again. And feelings are far more powerful than logic. The mistake most men make after a breakup is trying to use logic to bring her back. They explain, they argue, they try to prove why the relationship makes sense. But women don't come back because of logic. They come back because of emotions. They come back because something inside them stirs, something whispers, I miss that feeling. That whisper is powerful. It is what makes her text you after weeks of silence. It's what makes her check your social media. It's what makes her wonder if she made a mistake. The way you spark this again is by living in alignment with the man she first connected to. That doesn't mean copying the past. It means carrying forward the same energy, but in a stronger, more evolved version of yourself. If you used to make her laugh, don't lose that playfulness. If you used to inspire her, don't lose that drive. If you used to make her feel safe, don't lose that calmness. Because when she sees glimpses of the man she once fell for, combined with the growth you've achieved now, she can't help but feel the pull. And here's where subtlety matters. You don't force these memories on her. You don't sit her down and say, remember when we used to? No. You let it happen naturally. You create an aura of familiarity. So when she sees you, talks to you, or even hears about you from others, her mind connects the dots on its own. She remembers without you saying a word. That's what makes it powerful. It doesn't feel forced. It feels real. It might be something as small as the way you carry yourself with confidence when you walk into a room, or the way you stay calm under pressure, or the way you smile in that same way that once melted her heart. These little triggers are what reopen the door to her emotions. And when her emotions open, logic becomes irrelevant. She may have told herself 100 reasons why it won't work, but when her heart feels drawn to you again, those reasons crumble. Never underestimate the power of shared memories. Even when she's with someone else, even when she's trying to move on, there will be moments when something reminds her of you. A song, a place, a scent, a phrase. And suddenly she's back in that moment with you. That is the leverage you already have, because no one can replace the history you built together. And the more you evolve while still holding the essence of who you were when she loved you most, the more irresistible that pull becomes. So don't waste time arguing, convincing, or begging. Instead, focus on becoming the upgraded version of the man she once felt deeply connected to. Let your growth speak, let your energy remind her of the bond, and let the emotions she buried rise back to the surface on their own. Because when she feels that connection again, when she remembers how it felt to be loved by you in a way no one else can replicate, that's when her heart will guide her back, no matter how far she's gone. When someone walks away from you, it's easy to fall into the trap of making promises. You tell her, I'll change, I'll be different, I'll do better this time. And maybe in that moment, you truly mean it. But here's the thing, you can say those words 100 times, and they will mean absolutely nothing if your actions don't reflect them. Words are cheap when they're not backed by behavior. A woman doesn't come back because of what you say. She comes back because of what she sees. And if she doesn't see the difference, she won't believe in it. This is why showing change is so much more powerful than talking about it. Anyone can say, I've changed, but very few people can actually live it. That's where most men fail. They try to convince her with long texts, with emotional conversations, with endless explanations about how they'll never repeat the same mistakes again. But when she looks closely, nothing has really shifted. He's still the same man, just dressed in different words. And that's why she doesn't take it seriously. But imagine instead, she sees you moving differently. She sees you walking with more confidence, speaking with more clarity, carrying yourself with more discipline. She notices that the old patterns are gone, not because you told her, but because your life reflects it. That's when it becomes undeniable. That's when she realizes you're not just talking about change, you've become change. And that is what attracts her back more than anything else. Think of it like this. If someone broke your trust, would you believe their words, or would you believe their consistent actions over time? Of course, it would be the actions. That's how women think too. She's not waiting to hear promises. She's waiting to see proof. Proof in how you live, how you handle yourself, how you've grown. Proof in the way you deal with setbacks, in the way you manage your emotions, in the way you stand firm when life tests you. Those little things show her more than any grand speech ever could. And this change isn't just about her. It's not about pretending or performing so she notices. It's about genuinely becoming the kind of man who is better, stronger, wiser than before. The kind of man who no longer repeats the same mistakes because he's truly learned from them. That authenticity is what makes the change stick. If you're only doing it to win her back, it will eventually crack and she'll see through it. But if you're doing it because you're committed to your own growth, because you're becoming a man of discipline and value, then it becomes permanent. That's when it becomes undeniable. And let me tell you something, women are incredibly perceptive. They notice the smallest details. They know when you're pretending and they know when it's real. And they can feel the difference in your energy, in your tone, in your presence. So don't waste time rehearsing speeches about how you've improved. Let your daily habits show it. Let your discipline show it. Let your results show it. When she sees consistency, when she sees growth, when she sees that you've built yourself into someone stronger than the man she walked away from, that's when her respect comes back. And with respect, attraction follows. Change is not about perfection. It's about progress. You don't need to be flawless to make her notice. You just need to be real. You need to show that you've grown, that you're evolving, that you refuse to stay the same. Maybe before you were insecure, now you're confident. Maybe before you were careless with your time, now you're disciplined. Maybe before you avoided responsibility, now you embrace it. These shifts are powerful and she won't ignore them. The beauty of showing change is that you don't need to announce it. You don't need to post it everywhere or tell everyone about it. When it's real, people will see it without you saying a word. She will notice it in the way you carry yourself. She will notice it in the way you respond instead of react. She will notice it in the way you've built your life in her absence. And those observations will speak louder than any "I've changed" message ever could. And here's the truth. When she sees genuine change, it does something deep inside her. It makes her question her decision. It makes her think, maybe I gave up too soon. Maybe he really is different now. Maybe I lost someone who turned into the man I always wanted him to be. That doubt, that curiosity, that shift is what brings her closer. It's not the begging, not the convincing, not the promises. It's the undeniable proof that you've evolved. So if you want her to come back, stop talking and start living, let your actions be the message. Let your growth be the conversation. Because the day she looks at you and realizes you are no longer the man she left, that's the day she feels the pull, the day her heart reopens, the day she starts to see you in a new light. Confidence is magnetic, purpose is magnetic. When a man has both, he becomes unstoppable. And the truth is, that's exactly what pulls a woman back more than anything else. You see, attraction doesn't last on looks alone. It doesn't last on sweet words, and it doesn't last on empty promises. What makes a woman obsessed, what makes her reconsider everything, is when she sees a man who is completely aligned with his confidence and his purpose. That's the kind of man she cannot ignore, no matter how far she's gone. Most men, after a breakup, do the exact opposite. They lose themselves, they crumble, they make her the center of their world, and in the process, they forget their own identity. They start living like she was the only thing giving them meaning. And when that happens, when a man becomes dependent on a woman to feel valuable, he loses his attraction instantly, because a man without purpose is like a ship without direction, drifting, unstable, weak. And women don't follow a man who's lost. They follow a man who knows exactly where he's going. Now think about the men who always seem to draw people in. They don't have to chase attention. It comes to them. Why? Because they radiate energy. They walk into a room and you can feel it. They're not necessarily the loudest or the flashiest, but they have something stronger, a deep inner confidence and a life that is clearly driven by meaning. That's what makes them magnetic. And that's the kind of energy you need to cultivate if you truly want her to come back. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It's not about acting like you don't care or pretending to be above everyone else. True confidence is calm. It's steady. It's knowing your value without needing anyone else to validate it. It's standing firm when life tests you, and it's being unshakable in who you are. When a woman sees that kind of confidence in a man, she feels safe with him, she respects him, and most importantly, she feels drawn to him again. Because deep down, every woman wants to be with a man she can look up to, a man who makes her feel like she's by the side of someone strong. And purpose, that's the engine behind it all. Without purpose, confidence fades. A man with no mission is a man stuck in the same cycle, chasing temporary highs but never truly fulfilled. But when you lock into your purpose, when you wake up every day with a vision, with goals, with a drive to build something greater than yourself, you radiate an energy that no one can ignore. That's when she sees you thriving, not just surviving. That's when she sees you building, creating, evolving. And suddenly you don't just look like the man she left. You look like the man she can't stop thinking about. The beauty of purpose is that it shifts the dynamic completely. When you're focused on building your life, you're not waiting around for her call. You're not desperate for her attention. You're not sitting there wondering what she's doing every second. You're too busy creating something real, something lasting. And that's when the tables turn, because now she's the one wondering about you. She's the one asking herself why you're not chasing her, why you seem so focused, why you look more powerful than ever. That curiosity makes her lean back towards you. And here's what makes it even more powerful. When she sees that your world doesn't revolve around her anymore, that you have a bigger mission that you're building something with or without her, she feels the shift in power. She realizes you are not dependent on her for happiness. And that's when she feels the pull to be part of your journey again. Because every woman wants to stand beside a man who is going somewhere, who is building something, who is strong enough to walk alone, but powerful enough to invite her into his vision. So don't waste energy trying to prove your worth with words. Don't try to convince her that you've changed or that you deserve another chance. Let your confidence and your purpose do the talking. Let your actions, your growth, your presence show her that you're no longer the man she walked away from. You're a man on a mission, and that mission has transformed you into someone she cannot resist. When you carry yourself with that kind of energy, when you live with confidence and purpose, she doesn't just notice it, she feels it. And once she feels it, once she sees the man you've become, the decision she once made no longer feels certain. She starts to question everything. She starts to feel the regret. She starts to wonder if walking away was the biggest mistake of her life.